Okay. If you've ever gone out for a sport, and I see, again, I coached basketball for a lot of years. I've played other sports. And but when you're playing a sport when you're a kid, and they make you go take a lap, and you're supposed to take a lap. Everybody's running around a track or running around some court. Let's say it's a field, rectangular, or court, rectangular, and you got all these kids that are running around and running around. What is one of the things probably every coach says about when they're going like this? And the team is doing that. What's the coach does? He's always screaming, don't cut the corners. Or when you do those things, the name of this drill on a basketball court. We gotta go touch the free throw line, and we gotta go back and touch baseline, touch the half court line, touch baseline, touch 3/4 court line, touch baseline, touch full court line, touch baseline. What's that called? You played basketball. Suicide. Suicide. No, you don't call it a suicide because if somebody actually dies on the bench during your practice, that's not good. What were they running? Well, it's called a suicide. No, it's not. So a long time ago, when I had a head coach said, we call them cupcakes. Well, they just run a cupcake. How many did they run? 47. But what's one of the things that we always would touch? You have to touch it with your hand. Make sure you actually get to the line. You touch it with your hand. If you don't go to that line, it's about discipline. It's about not taking shortcuts. It's not about, are you cutting off so much you're not getting anything out of it? No, but you're not disciplined. If you're going to take a shortcut here, you're going to take a shortcut during the game. You've got to be disciplined about how you do things. Probably something you would want your own kids to do. And that's that curse parents always give you. Maybe you would have kids that are just like you. You got to be disciplined. And there's only one kind of discipline in life, self-discipline. You have to exercise. I have zero self-discipline when it comes to ice cream. I got none. It's like Cookie Monster with cookies, but it's ice cream. You got to have something that's going to make sure you take care of every little detail. And that might be one of the things that holds you back. You got to figure out the tiny things, the detail. How many operations do we have in those letters? P, E, M, D, A. That's how many actual operations are. How many things? 6? No. There aren't 6. That's the problem. That's the first issue that is being taught incorrectly in the elementary schools and the intermediate schools and wherever, high schools. There aren't 6 order of operations. There's only 4. Yeah, there's 6 letters, but there's only 4 things going on. And when it says order of operations, you have to do these things in order to get to the right answer. You can get lots of possible answers. Everybody doing it whatever way they think it's supposed to happen, but there's only one correct answer because you can't have 5 different answers and then, hey, that's okay. It can be that for you and this for that for you, and it all works out. So before we go over this, give me somebody's answer for this. Give me some answer.
-1.
We got -1. Anything else? Don't be shy. I need examples so we can go over. I know there's a 7 out there. That's all right. No, seriously, that's all right.
1.
A positive one.
I got 7.
You got a 7? Okay. So there's 3 possible answers that everybody doing the same problem, 3 possible answers can only have one right one. I don't even know one of those 3 are the right answer. Give me some answers for this one.
37.
37. Any others? -7. Any others?
7.
+7. Any others? What? 3? 3? How about this one?
18.
18? 10?
7.
2.
Okay, yeah, 2. So we're taking an option here. Any others?
7.
Got another 10. How about this one?
3.
We got a 3. We got a 0.
9.
9.
4.
4.
7.
27. Okay. P. Parentheses. Wow. My handwriting's got to get back under control. It stands for parentheses. You do what's in the parentheses first if you have parentheses. You simplify anything that's in a parentheses. Now, let's make sure we understand what parentheses are. A grouping symbol. So a bracket. So maybe you have a parentheses in a parenthesis. This might be written as bracket 15 plus, because you have inside parentheses 4 minus 20, and then you have a bracket around that. So you know you have a parentheses inside of another grouping symbol. So what do? You do the what's inside the big bracket. Hey, what's in there? Oh, you got another parentheses. You should do that first. The E is for exponent. If there are any exponents, then you do those second. Here's the problem. So one order of operation, 1 operation, 2 operations. That is 1 operation. There is no such thing as division. Division does not exist. Okay? The rule is you multiply and or divide in order from left to right. Let me explain what I'm talking about. Now I'm going to skip ahead to when you actually did, let's say 10, and you're going to divide by 1/2. When you apply the rule to a fraction. When you had fractions, the rule was, hey, we don't divide by fraction. When you have division in a fraction, we multiply by the reciprocal. We multiply by the reciprocal. We change division into multiplication by the reciprocal. So we change this into 10 times, what's the reciprocal of 1/2?
0.5.
What? No, that's the decimal. Reciprocal means you're gonna flip it. So if this is 1/2, the reciprocal is gonna be 2/1. So 2. We change it to multiplication by the reciprocal. So division doesn't exist. You can do it with any number. 10 times 2 is 20. Understand what the question is actually saying. When you do 10 and you're dividing by 1/2, we want to know how many halves there are in a 10. How many times can 1/2 go into 10? Money. What's half of a dollar?
50 cents.
50 cents. Well, there's two 50-cent pieces. 50-cent pieces are a little bit bigger than a quarter. Okay, but not as big as the silver dollars are. These are monetary things you probably don't know about. Okay. 50 cents goes into a dollar 2 times, and there's $10 in $10. So there's 10 of those 50 cents. And that's 21 halves in 10. So how many times can 1/2 go into 10? 20 times. Because it's multiplication by the reciprocal. That's how division always works. Therefore, division doesn't exist. You multiply by the reciprocal. So when we see 12, and we divide by 3, it's really 12 times the reciprocal, 1/3. The reciprocal, 1/3. In other words, what's 1/3 of 12? 4. Now, we might think that, hey, I can divide 3 into 12 a lot easier than 1/3 of 12. Divide by 3 is a lot nicer than 1/3 of it. I don't like fractions in the first place. You know, fractions don't care about you, so don't get so mad about fractions. But that's the problem is, you look at this and you think it's multiply, then divide. That's the problem with elementary school. They're teaching that word, they're putting that word then in there. There is no then. It's multiply and or divide in order from left to right. That's why some of these answers come out wrong. You multiply and or divide in order from left to right. So when we get to some of those, and I can see it probably happened in number 2A, and probably might happen. Well, looks like 2A is being told. And then the last order of operation is AS. The way it's taught is 2 operations. It's 1 operation. It's taught this way. You add, then subtract. There's no then. Because there is no such thing as subtraction. Subtraction doesn't exist. One operation depends. Yeah. The rebounds are going to get you. AS, you add and or subtract in order from left to right. This is one of the major pieces that we need to fix before we can do anything else in this file. Order of operation. If it's right here, 5 plus 3, that's a positive 5 and a positive 3. So we go, I got 5 positives, 3 more positives, that's a total of 3 positives. No big deal. But when I have 6 minus 2, there's no such thing as -2. But we understand, hey, 6 take away 2. We learned that first, second grade. Probably learned in kindergarten. I might even be talking about preschool. I have 6, we want to take away 2, we end up with 4. No big deal. But what's really going on is, this is a 6, and we're going to add -2 to it. That's what is going on with actually doing subtraction. We have a positive 6, and we're going to add a -2 to it. That's what subtraction is really doing every single time. So that means you just add or subtract in order from left to right. So when you see this, 10 minus 8 plus 3. Here's what happens when it's not done properly. And you use that, there's a then. You think of the word then. Add, then subtract. Oh, I'm going to add, then subtract. So subtraction is going to go last. I got to add first. So 8 plus 3 is 11. So I go 10, and then there's my minus, and then 8 plus 3, that's 11. And then a 10 minus 11, that's a negative 1. Well, that's wrong. Because that ain't no 8. But it's a negative. I can't go with negative 8 and then add 3 and get negative 11. That's a negative 8, not a positive. So these two do not combine and make an 11. So this is what's going to save you. Don't stress about it, just go from left to right. And unfortunately, we don't even have this analogy to draw from anymore. A checkbook. Back in the good old days, we actually used to write down what's in our account. We would write checks. We would deposit money into the account. That's a plus. And we would know how much is in the account. And then when we would write a check, we would subtract. And maybe we deposit a little bit more, add that, and then subtract it. Maybe we got to subtract a little bit. But we would do it in order as transactions happen with our account. We didn't go, hey, I'm going to go, all right. I have $486, and then I'm going to write a check for 30 and write another check for another 20. And then I got another check, finally my friend paid me for that weekend. I got 120. Oh, I'm going to add those two together. Well, no, that's a negative one. If you wrote a checkbook, you would take away 30 from here, and then take another 20 away from that total, and then you add 120 to that. You just go in order like a timeline. Let's solve this. 10 minus 8 is 2, and then plus 3, 2 plus 3, 5. Add or subtract in order from left to right. There's no then. There's no then. If you're getting these wrong, don't feel bad. I have trig students. I've had calculus students get order of operation wrong. Now, how they got that wrong? Maybe let's put it this way. Calculators do a lot when you punch the equations in correctly, but when you're not allowed to use a calculator, that's what they solve. So you still got to know what you're doing. So here we go. Let's see what these answers do. So here, in the parentheses, you have 2 times 4 minus 6. So I have to do what's in here first. I'm going to bring down the 2. Inside that parentheses, 4 minus 6 is what? Negative 2. So I should keep the parentheses because I haven't multiplied yet. And then I got to bring down the plus 3. Keep. Multiply positive times a negative. So positive times a negative is going to be a negative. 2 times 2 is going to be a negative 4 and then a plus 3. A negative 4 and a plus 3. So 4 negative and 3 positive gives me a negative 1. One of the things I've noticed in teaching all these years, and you can chalk it up to being lazy or just chalk it up to somebody not holding students accountable. If I just went and said, Everybody take a look. All right, so this is -2, 2 times -2. That's going to be a -2. That's going to be a -4, -4. That's a -1. And I didn't write everything out. I know what I'm doing. I, said it out loud exactly what I was doing. But I'm not showing everything. I'm just going, oh, yeah, you should be able to get that. That's not very good. Writing it out step by step helps you keep track of everything as you do it. I'm trying to model what you should be doing. If you haven't been getting them right, what strategy is working for you? You haven't been getting it right, then maybe your strategy isn't working for you. Maybe you need to change the strategy. And that takes work. Again, that word discipline. If you want to get something out of this class, don't waste your semester. I'll tell you right now, last semester, there are a lot of students that did not do well. They did not make the most of their time, whether it be taking advantage of free tutoring, office hours. Look at how many people are in this class. You know what's really important? The best way to pass a class is to gang up on the teacher. Study groups. Work together. My closest friends are the ones I made in my college years that I'm still, closest with. Even closer with my elementary school friend. But you're going through something right now that's going to make the biggest impact on your life. You need to find, especially if you're going into the same type of careers, gang up, work together. You hold each other accountable. And the best way to know how to do something is to teach it to somebody else. One more and then we'll go to break. So +6, take away 12. I have 6 positives. When I take away 12, that's another -6 left over. It's in parentheses. But I've done the parentheses and the separation between these two is a plus. So -6 is done, and that's a plus. In here, I got to do 4 minus 20 first. So parentheses, because I'm not done yet, 15, and then there's a plus. 4 minus 20, that's a -16. Plus that -16. So -6, and then I have this plus inside here. 15 take away 16. 15 plus -16. What kind of -1. And what I will always try to do is show you this. If I have 2 consecutive signs and they're opposite, when you add a negative, it's just subtraction. This is 15 minus 16. So 15 minus 16, that is -6. And then plus, that's a -1. So you have 6 negatives plus 1 more negative, that's a -7. All right, still back at 9:20. We're at 9:20 right now. At 9:30, we'll address Pearson, and we'll continue with this, and then we'll also start looking at what homework you're going to have on Pearson. Okay? Next second.